lot of familiar faces out there. I'm going to kick it off and let Maud introduce herself too, but I just want to express gratitude for this opportunity to gather and to see all your faces and to connect in this way. I know and a lot of our team have attended these roundtables over the months and years and get a lot of value from them. So it's a treat to be able to share back with you all in this way, and hopefully there's something you gain from it as well. I think I'm going to hopefully gain a lot from the Q&A time as well. I currently serve as our Director of Advocacy for Lowcountry Local First, Advocacy and Communications. I've been in the organization for going on 10 years now, and most of those first 9 were spent as a Director of Marketing and Communications. So I've been deeply involved in the platforms and communication tools we've used over the years. Not alone, definitely with other colleagues supporting that. But Maud, do you want to quickly introduce yourself, and then I'll kind of get us going?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Maud Bentley. I'm the Director of Creative and Marketing at Lowcountry Local First. I've also been here for about 10 years. Some of that was part-time, sort of started off in graphic design and then worked my way up to marketing brand manager. And now I'm in Jordan's former role as Director of Creative and Marketing. Happy to be here today.
I feel like we've been really fortunate to have Maud from the get-go. I know it's maybe rare for organizations, especially small ones like us, to have someone doing graphic design on staff and not having to outsource that or, piece it together. So we've been really fortunate to have Maud leading our design efforts for a long, long time, and now to be able to really steer our greater marketing efforts as well. We're here to talk membership. Our initial plan was that our membership manager, Ryan, would be here today, and he ended up having to be out of town with family. So we're going to do our best to speak on his behalf. We're certainly deeply involved in this work as well, especially with sort of maintaining our platform that both manages our front-facing website now and our membership program itself. So we'll talk through that today. We'll stop sharing these slides in a few minutes and then actually just go into our website and show you what it looks like on the front end and the back end and talk about why we picked it. We'll talk about what we like about it. We'll talk about some of the gaps it has, but what it has enabled us to do in terms of engaging members to both with the organization and to each other. And yes, please ask questions along the way, or certainly at the end as well. I think my hope is the top 2 takeaways at the end of this is that no matter what technology you adopt or what platforms you're using, that ultimately it still very, very much comes down to human interaction to make this stuff work. There's no amount of automation or AI tools that can replace that. So this is a helpful tool for us, the platform we'll talk about. And it does integrate with, there's this Zapier connection to pretty much anything you want to do. But I think it's not at all successful if we're not also reaching out as humans, both through email and phone and in person. So that's a lesson we continually learn and remind ourselves that our team and our board and committees have a duty and a role to really get to know our members personally. And then the other takeaway is that these platforms change quickly. I feel like even more so these days, there are more and more options out there. There's more and more integrations. There is more and more automation capability out there. So even though this is a platform that we're using now and have been using for less than 2 years now, who knows how long we'll have it? I mean, it could be that in a few years we decide this is no longer serving us, or that there's something out there that's more affordable or does something more easily for us. So, when we first launched our website 17 years ago for the organization, I think the first iteration maybe didn't last that long, but the second iteration of our website and platform lasted us like 10, 11 years. And so I don't think that will ever happen again. I don't know that a website and a platform like that, like this, will have that long of a shelf life anymore, but we'll see. So to get started, this is us. We're a team of 9 full-time staff. We have actually 4 contracted employees who also teach, and they're instructors and class monitors in our Community Business Academy program. But the rest of us are here running communications efforts, membership efforts. They run the Business Academy program itself, or we have a director of development in the upper right, Kayla, shout out to Kayla, and Mara, who's here as well, viewing, who does our events and communications as well. And our fearless leader, Jackie, is our executive director. She's in the upper left. This is our mission statement and a little bit of a map of where we are in case you're not familiar by Lowcountry. Lowcountry is sort of the bottom portion of South Carolina. We technically represent all of these counties that are highlighted in red, but really most intensely the Charleston, Dorchester, Berkeley County region. So really right around the Charleston, South Carolina area. We do our work in sort of 3 buckets. It's probably familiar to a lot of you, and it's probably mirrors a good bit of what you would do, but we focus our work on public awareness campaigns, influencing our citizens here to shop and dine local and to support each other. We do, especially in my role now in advocacy, a lot of building relationships with our elected officials and decision makers to try and sway procedures and policies that impact our landscape here. And we do a lot of resources, programming, networking. We love an event. We love a party. We love a parade. We're walking in our parade here soon. And we just love to make it as fun and engaging as we can. So membership specifically, obviously, is a big driver of all of those things. It drives both our programming, it drives our advocacy efforts, and certainly drives, it's what we drive people to in our public awareness campaigns. So we've been membership based now really since the beginning of our organization in 2007. We've ebbed and flowed in membership levels. I think, COVID had its impacts. We are currently right now hovering around 450 to 500 members. Those are all sectors, all shapes, all sizes. And we have a pretty robust structure to the tiers and benefits that we offer those members. So currently, as of this year, for the first time, we extended both the low end and the high end of our membership options down to as low as $150 and as high as $3,500. It's self-selected on all these levels except for the 150. That bottom level is just for solopreneurs, artists, and nonprofits to join our organization. And then the base business level for people that do have employees starts at $250 a year. That's where the majority of our membership sits, is in that $250 per year bucket. But then they can opt into higher levels if they want more visibility, more engagement. We also have worked with our accountants to confirm that at the top couple levels of membership, they can also kind of use the extra amount of dollars they're giving us to sponsor other memberships. So that's something that we're sort of piloting right now, is promoting that as a chance to give back to other businesses that may not be able to afford a membership right now, that you can join at this level and sort of support our grace fund for other memberships. So the base benefits are listed here, and there's one more slide of them. This is what everybody gets, whether you're at the solopreneur level or above. You're in our directory online. You get our certified local badges, both in print and digitally. You get access to all of our events, most of which is just free for them and their entire staff. The only exception is a couple of our signature events that are ticketed. They get a discount on those tickets. They get to participate in our member-to-member offerings program, which we launched because of our switch to this platform that we'll look at, which allows them to just connect with each other, say, I want to offer you as an LLF member a discount on my services or products, and here's the code or the link to do that. They also can access our co-working space at a discount. They get access to a network of consultants known as our local expertise exchange. They can both, as members, become an expert in that consulting network or benefit from that offer. They can also provide input to our advocacy efforts. So we only allow current members to take our annual survey and to attend our member meetups, which is another place where we really pull out sort of pain points and hurdles. And then social media engagement. We try to make sure if we see members doing cool things or if they tag us and stuff, that we're sharing that out as much as possible. So really the value of what they're getting from even just this base level of benefit should far outweigh what they're paying. This is a moment of transparency. So membership is a huge driver of what we're doing, but it's not necessarily a huge driver of our revenue. And I don't know if this resonates with others here, but we, for the last 4 years, have leaned more on the federal EDA grant money to support our Community Business Academy programs and other things, which has skewed this pie pretty significantly. So those multi-year government grants have shrunk the piece of the pie that is membership revenue. So even though it's only coming up as 10% or so of that revenue stream, it's a really, really important piece of that revenue stream and one that we try hard to grow. It'd be really nice to not have to rely on grants. I'm sure you'd all agree. So that's a pie piece we want to see expand. All right. In the past, for many, many years, we used the WordPress platform to build our website on, and then we integrated a couple of different platforms to help us manage our customer relationships or membership relationships and donor relationships. For many years, we used an open source free platform called Civi CRM that was pretty bare bones. That we liked it because it enabled us to do a public facing directory and map. We liked the clickable map feature where you could click on an icon, see a profile, zoom into your neighborhood, find what's around you really easily. But it was, very limited in what it could do in terms of sort of data tracking and campaign planning, all that stuff. We grew up a little bit over the years. We hired a director of development, and that person helped us adopt Salesforce, which, has anyone used Salesforce before? It's a beast. It's massive. It's really meant for like huge corporations. So it enabled us to do more than what Civi did, but we thought it would be appealing because you pay one time for sort of a onboarding fee, and then it's basically free year to year. So we thought, okay, worth this investment up front. It's going to enable us to do a lot more, and we'll save money in the long run. But then we learned, you really have to pay experts and consultants to keep things working for you well. They're always updating their platforms, changing things break. You have to pay consultants pretty steep fees to maintain a Salesforce database system. So about 2 to 3 years ago, we started poking around again at platforms out there. Our former colleague Steve did a good number of demos of platforms that I wish he were here to speak to that process, but we ultimately landed at Novi, an association management software system. I'll share a little bit about why we landed on that briefly, and then we'll dig into what it looks like, what it feels like. I think a big reason we did choose Novi was because we had a peer here in South Carolina who had adopted it a couple of years earlier. It's our statewide association for nonprofits. It's called Together SC. If you want to check out their website, they use Novi as well. Just togethersc.org. So we were able to talk to them about their experience, both with onboarding on the platform, but also like what it was enabling them to do. We're a member of Together SC, so we were able to see as members how we could log into their site and activate different benefits. So that helped a lot. Let's get into this a little bit. So I was going to speak briefly to the other platforms we vetted. We looked at Novi, we looked at EcoMap, Personify by Wild Apricot, Racklet, Fontiva, NetForum, and Nimble AMS were some of the other platforms we looked at. We ended up doing demos with EcoMap, Wild Apricot, and Racklet. And then, ultimately ended up moving forward with Novi. They price themselves, they're very transparent with their pricing. You can go to noviams.com, I believe, and go to the pricing page. It's a one-time setup fee based on your organization's annual revenue. So it's kind of like a sliding scale. And so you can put in your revenue on their site and it'll pump out what the cost would be and all the benefits you would get with that. They have great customer service, which was appealing, and they still do. I feel like I've never ever touted anyone's customer service abilities, but I would Novi's. They're very accessible, and they have a little blue bubble chat box on their on the back end of the site that you can tap into as well at any point, and they're very responsive. But they've been great to work with. They handled all of our data migration from Salesforce into Novi. And ultimately, it took about 90 to 100 days to go from start to finish to going live, which is great. I think I'm going to tap in Maud here to speak a little bit more to sort of the integration side of why we picked Novi, and then we'll stop the slides and hop over into the belly of the beast itself. You're ready,
Sure.
Maud?
Thank you, Jordan. So I think one of the biggest reasons we chose Novi is because it offers this one centralized solution. So previously, like we talked about, to manage our website, we had to use WordPress. To manage our memberships and our data tracking, we had to go into Salesforce. If we wanted to sell anything through e-commerce, we would go WooCommerce or Authorize.net. And then when we hosted events, we'd go to a third-party platform like Eventbrite or City Paper Tickets and use that to sell our tickets. So our information was all over the place, and it was hard to get kind of the whole picture of what we were doing, what we were selling, who was attending which events. And Novi offers all of those things within its platform. So you can see on this page, this is kind of what it looks like on the back end dashboard. You have a menu on the left-hand side that can handle e-commerce, accounting, membership and events, reporting. So having all of that in one place has been fantastic. We also use it to manage the front end side of the website, so we can upload all of content and images. And that has really sort of pared down the amount of work that we have to do and amount of platforms that we have to pay for. We really like the ability for members to be able to log in to this system on their own and self-manage their business profiles. Previously, that was something that we had to manage as admins for all of our member businesses. And now we can have business owners just log in, they can update their offerings, they can change the description of their business, they can edit their hours, upload a new logo if they've rebranded. And that has taken a lot of time off of our plates, which is awesome. And then we really like this feature that we can lock down certain content, certain pages, and certain ticket tiers to groups that we create. And we can create those groups based on whether you're a current member who's paid their dues. We can lock it down to like higher level members versus lower level members. We can have our Community Business Academy graduates access certain events and pricing tiers on there. So that's really awesome. Like before, when we were using Eventbrite, we could have 2 ticket tiers, one for members, one for non-members, but we would have to manually go back and look at the report and double check and see if people were current and whether they could apply for that discounted price. Novi does it all automatically. Also has a really robust business directory and category filters and allows us to link directly to certain categories, which is awesome for promoting our campaigns that change throughout the year. And then finally, it also integrates fully with QuickBooks, which we were already using, and syncs all collected emails from user accounts and events to MailChimp. So then we can segment the list within MailChimp and send out appropriate emails. So it really is just this great one centralized system. We can hop in and take a look at what our website looks like. Let me share my screen here. Okay, so this is the front end of lowcountrylocalfirst.org. Novi offers a couple different templates for their website designs. There are like maybe like 10, 6 to 10. So we explored sort of the different layouts and features that they had and ended up on this design. It's great. It's got this menu up here on the back end. We can control everything that appears in these directory links. We can control this slider. So for right now, we're currently in our buy local season campaign. So that's the first slider that we have that comes up here and draws people to the event. You can put, I think up to like 6 different ones here. call to action buttons right on the front page. And then it has this nice upcoming featured events. We don't have to change anything here. This is automatically pulled from our event calendar. And then our Catalyst partners, which are high level partners, are featured down on the bottom. So they get some visibility on our homepage as a member benefit. We really like the business directory, as I was saying here. So this automatically pulls businesses from the back end based on whether they're current and have paid their dues. So we don't have to manually come in here and remove anybody if they're no longer paying member. It's all automatic. These populate sort of randomly. They're not alphabeticals, and they regenerate every like 15 minutes. So when you come back to this page during the day, you'll see different businesses featured on the front page. And then you can click through here to see everyone else, or you can use these filters. We set these up on the back end because they made most sense to our organization, but you can put whatever you want here. So we chose demographics. You can sort by women-owned businesses, Black-owned, Hispanic-owned. You can choose by their member types, so the level that they are, if you want to see who the high-level members are versus the solopreneurs. Or you can go in and look at categories. And again, we chose these based on our membership. So you can filter down and go see, like if you just wanted to look at home and garden members, it'll give you a list of everyone who falls into that category. Now, these are self-selected. When members sign up, they can choose up to 3 different categories that their business fits into. So sometimes it doesn't always make sense, depending on what they've chosen, but for the most part, it really helps filter the 500 different businesses that we have on here. It also has this cool map feature. So you can see where the businesses are spread out across the Lowcountry. You can zoom in and see which businesses are near you or near where you're shopping. It is one drawback that they are currently working on. This is not featuring all of our businesses at once. It features only everyone who comes up on this first page. So you have to click through to then access the rest of them. We're hoping that one day they get to the point where they're all visible right on the front end there. We can go in and select certain businesses so you can see their profiles. Once you go on a business profile, you'll be able to see their address, their phone number. It links out directly to their website, has their social channels here, so you can go like and follow. And then the business owner can put in a description of what they offer, upload their logo, and then these are their self-selected categories. They can also add images of their featured products, and then it loads up their Facebook here. So it's pretty robust, offers a lot more than what our previous directory could do. And it's a great member tool for members to get visibility in our membership. We also we really like the events feature here. So like I said, some of these show up on the front end of our website. Otherwise, people can access our calendar under events. We have in our Buy Local season campaign right now, right at the top, we have links to featured directory categories here. So when people come here, they can click here and they'll automatically go and see all the businesses that are in our membership under retail and gifts or food and beverage, beauty and wellness. That's also something we weren't able to do previously and really helps with our marketing efforts. We have also the ability to impersonate users, which is a new feature to us. So if somebody calls in and they're having an issue with the website or their payment plan, you can go in and impersonate them and sort of see what they see on their back end or front end of the website. This is cool because so if we go back to events, we're offering this proctored ServSafe Manager test this month for our food and beverage business members, but we're only offering this test to people who are currently members. So if you see, we go to register now, this person, Alex, isn't a current paying dues member, and it won't be able to register for this event. So that's a super great, and it's automatic, and we don't have to monitor it. This also applies to when we do like our marquee events. So we have like the Good Business Summit coming up in March. We'll be able to put in differently tiered tickets here. So we can have a member price, a non-member price. And as long as folks go in and log in to their member portal, they'll be able to access the member tickets. This is what the member portal looks like, that they call the member compass. So if Alex was like, man, I really want to take that proctored ServSafe exam, maybe I should renew and pay my dues with Lowcountry Local First, he can just do it himself. He doesn't have to call us. He doesn't have to mail a check. He can go into his member compass, click on renew now, pay the invoice, and then go back and register for that event. So that's super great, and something that, again, we were able to take off our plates. He can also go in here and manage his company profile on his own. So if he needs to change, they've got a new building and he needs to change the address, he can enter that there. You can add up your different categories here, choose your demographics, your logo, your Instagram handle, all of that. We do go in and monitor these with different reports to see if there are any pieces of missing information or errors, and fix it on that on our end back there. But it does allow members to do it themselves. So it cuts down on the amount of time that we have to spend doing that. This is also helpful. We have this members only resources page. So you have to be a current paying member to access all of these things. We have the local expertise exchange where people can sign up to meet with a professional to get advice in certain fields like legal or HR. That's only available to paying members. We have our member-to-member offerings where members can offer discounts to each other. And see here, since he's not currently a member, we can't access this. So he doesn't get to see all of the great discounts and access codes that we have. But if we stop sharing, I can show you guys what that looks like. I will say, like, compared to WordPress, Novi doesn't have sort of widgets that you can kind of like drag and drop onto a page. So it does require sometimes a little bit more HTML coding knowledge if you want to like divide things into like 2 columns. Otherwise, it's sort of all stacked vertically. But you can get by and create things that look aesthetic without having to know coding. But yeah, it'd be more like this. It's a little bit more, stacked top to bottom. Let's see. And then I can show you guys the back end of our dashboard briefly. So this is like our high level, right? When you log in, you can immediately see how many dues are out or overdue. You can see how many members fall into each of our different buckets. You can see immediately who's expired or how many prospects we have in there. And then on this left-hand column is where you can go in and add in extra folders and pages. You can change your website navigation. You can write blog articles to help your SEO. You can go in and create events, and then also e-commerce products. So right now our donation page works like an e-commerce product. We also run a co-working facility, so we can charge people for their seats through this platform as well. And it keeps track of everything, and all of that information goes into each member's profile. And so you can look at the historical data there. There's also a good, pretty robust reporting feature. You can do membership, financial, general reports. You can create your own custom reports as well. So for example, right now during buy local season, if we wanted to go and email all of our retail customers, we could pop in here and view the data of current members and pull all of their email addresses and send out a campaign, asking them, hey, do you want to participate in our upcoming market? So pretty robust. What do you think, Jordan? Anything else you wanted to touch on?
No, I was gonna add just in terms of what we like and wish it could do better. Yeah, the donor management piece could be better. I think we actually never closed out our Salesforce system since it's free to keep going with it. We still use Salesforce to do a little bit more robust donor campaigning within that platform. All of our former donor data lives in there still, so that's a flaw, I think. I mean, you can track contacts and stuff through Novi just as well, but if you wanted to map out like sponsorship campaigns or donor appeal campaigns, this isn't great at that. You can still use a good old spreadsheet, but we have kept our Salesforce platform just for that piece. I was gonna see if I need to share my screen again. Oh yeah, Maud, do you want me to share the slides again to
Yeah,
look at recruitment stuff? Okay.
Yeah.
Back in here. Okay. Go ahead, and I'll try back into in a second.
Okay. I need to stop sharing. Okay, there we go. All right, so recruitment. So these are a couple different ways that we get out there and try to get new members to sign up or continue renewing our current members. First off would be brand awareness. We want people to know about us. So we have a pretty big chunk of our marketing budget dedicated to promoting our certified local badge and our directory. So across our print collateral, billboards, yard signs, radio ads, we are constantly pushing this visual, which businesses, when they sign up for membership, receive a decal that they can put on their front door. They also get a digital version that they could add to their website, or some members have used it in their own marketing and advertising materials to signify that they've aligned themselves with the movement and our brand and our membership of 500 businesses. This is like yeah, thank you. We also do a lot with newsletters and social media. So we like to share our digital and social reach on a lot of our sponsorship materials so that sponsors can see like, wow, if we align ourselves with your brand, we're going to be getting in front of 24,000 Instagram followers, or we'll have 7,000 folks opening the newsletter and seeing our logo attached with this brand. So those metrics are really helpful in gathering both memberships and sponsorships. We make an active effort every month to celebrate our new and renewing members. We do that on our newsletter. So it's like the very bottom piece of every monthly newsletter. We list out all the new and renewing members and link to their website. And then we also shout them out on social media, usually through Instagram stories. So we'll go and we'll tag all of these guys. They'll often reshare it and celebrate it themselves. And then we'll follow that up with a membership ask. So for anybody who's looking at our stories that's not yet a member and might be interested, they can fill out this monthly poll and our membership manager will reach out to them to discuss different membership options. We also help to market what our members have going on by resharing their events and stories, news and birthdays. So folks can tag us on social media and we'll reshare on their behalf, or sometimes we just go in and dig around, see what's happening and share for our members. And we'll include those in our member and community events on our newsletter as well. And sometimes larger events will feature on our events page of our website. We also make an active effort to capture membership testimonials throughout the year. So whenever we get a really great quote, we'll feature that in a social media post. We'll use it in our annual appeal, our sponsorship packages, our annual report. We've also done, we've invested a lot more in video this past year. And so we've captured some member testimonials on video, and we have those featured on our website and share them on social media so that other people, when they hear the benefits that these businesses have experienced, being in a Lowcountry Local First network, they're more willing to want to sign on and be part of that as well. And then lastly would be personal outreach and partnerships. As Jordan mentioned, as much as we can automate on the website for renewals, and that we can share on social, nothing is as powerful or as effective as personal outreach. So we host monthly local socials where we invite our members to attend, but we'll also invite prospects so that they can come and meet our network and make friends and mingle with like-minded business owners. We'll host other networking events throughout the year or attend other organizations' events where we can table and bring our materials and speak with people. And then we also partner with municipalities and community partnerships like Black Charleston Professionals or the Hispanic Business Association. And this helps us reach a wider and more diverse audience of people who could be potential members. So making partnerships with these groups just gets our brand in front of people who might not know about us and is a soft way to recruit new members.
Just to add to that human engine behind organizations like ours, we've this year gone back to an old practice we had that we'd kind of lost in the shuffle, where we ask, we have a membership engagement committee that stems from our board, and those board members and maybe one or two non-board members who are on the committee get a list once a month from our membership manager of the new members that signed up that month, and they divide it up and make a quick call to those folks and just say, hey, thank you, I'm on the board or I'm on the committee and just want to see if you have any questions or hope you can come out to the next social event, that kind of thing. It's usually a lot of leaving voicemails, but at least there's been a touch from someone outside of our staff right there at the beginning. And then something we've put into our blueprint, we call our strategic plan each year, our blueprint. We've just wrapped up and got our board approved on our next year's blueprint. And a fifth of that sort of focus of our work is this member engagement piece. And we're going back to sort of tasking each of our staff members with sort of nurturing and loving up on a subset of the industries within our membership, where we will each quarter make sure we're having a direct touch point to our little bundle of members so that they're not just hearing from us through newsletters or social media, or maybe if they happen to come to an event, but that they hear from us beyond that with sort of a little touch point. So that's, to me, what really is the magic sauce, is those communication efforts. Hope, dreams, and humans. Let's touch on the human part, right? We got to still do the real work. The hopes and dreams is more of just, you know, the desire to see a better donor cultivation piece within our platform. But the good thing about Novi is they are very receptive to feedback. They have a whole dashboard where you can both search for resources and help if you need it, but also submit kind of like requests for future updates, things that you could use that doesn't currently exist within the platform. So Maud mentioned the map feature. We've been asking them to expand what shows up on the map to be all-encompassing and not just the subset of members. We also have hopes and dreams that one day there will be an option for members to auto-renew and auto-charge that payment annually. Right now, they can opt in for an auto-renew, but it just triggers the sending of an invoice. So it still kind of gets lost in the shuffle of emails. That's something that they don't currently offer, but I think they're getting that request a lot. So I think they're trying to figure out the best ways around that kind of auto-renew feature for memberships. But yeah, I think ultimately we've learned the sort of necessity of evolving on these platforms, evolving what our benefits look like over the years, listening to what they like and don't like, track how they're showing up, how they're not showing up, not being afraid of letting go of events that aren't working, or not, letting go of even whole entire initiatives and programs that suddenly feel competitive in our ecosystem here, or taking great pride in being nimble in that way. So that, I think, is the end of the slideshow. Let me go back. Yeah, we're at questions. We've got Q&A time here.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to go ahead and go off mute or wants to put their question in the chat, we'd love to actually hear from people though.
A couple of questions.
Go for it.
Thanks. I'm a data geek. Um, and I was curious about a couple things. Do you have a contact limit, like number of records that you can't go above for like your pricing tier, or?
I don't believe so. Yeah.
I don't think so either. I'm not aware of that if it exists, which tells me we're just maybe not getting anywhere near that if there is a threshold, but no, I don't think it's based on that.
And it sends newsletters. Did you say that? Like your
It
membership newsletters, or you
with
said something about MailChimp, so.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
it
the
integrates.
emails.
So you have a separate membership with MailChimp, I guess?
Yes, it will send some automatic communication emails. So like if somebody registers for an event, it'll send a confirmation and you can change the text that's on there to include any extra information, like if there's a link to a Zoom link or anything specific. And it also automates renewal triggered emails. So it'll let you know 30 days beforehand and after payment's been received. But otherwise, yeah, we collect all of the emails and we do actual email campaigns in MailChimp.
One last question and I'll be done. I'm curious about this. We use wild apricot. We have for quite a few years before Personified took them over. And so the prices have been going up, although I don't think it's as expensive as Novi. But I was curious kind of if you knew what the deal breaker was on wild apricot. Just for keeping our ears open for other systems.
No, I wish I did know the answer to that, and I don't. And I'd love to hear, yeah, what
sounds
people
very
like about
similar.
wild apricot. Yeah, I'm curious to hear how that's going. I think there was a question submitted during registration around wild apricot, and it's alluded to maybe they were thinking of leaving wild apricot. So I'm just curious, yeah, if what people like and don't like about that one too.
I'll keep it short so you can get to other questions, but it sounds very similar. There's a lot of basic,
Yeah.
all the basic functionality is very similar, but there are some bells and whistles that you have, Novi, but then there's also bells and whistles that we have with Apricot, I guess, as far as we can send newsletters just manually along with automated, and people can renew automatically. Like once they put their credit card in, they're good to go. Until their
Nice.
credit
Okay.
card gets hacked or whatever. So I was just curious. I'm just keeping my eyes out. We pay about $4,700 a year for wild apricot. It'd take a lot for me to change because I know it's a headache, but I like to see what new technology has. You're right, it changes
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
So we've got
Yeah. Thank you for that.
questions in the chat, but I noticed that Vicky's hand went up right before the chat questions. So if you want to go off mute, Vicky, and ask your question.
Sure, thank you, and thank you for hosting this event. I apologize that I can't come off camera, but I'm not off camera ready right now. But I thank you for your presentation. I had two, I think a couple questions. One is, I see that this is your whole website. So my question is, do you know if you can buy like a la carte, like if we wanted like the business directory and the back end, like are there some features you can buy and plug into your existing website? Or do you have to buy the entire platform? And then the second question you can answer after that is you mentioned, well, actually I had three events. I was curious what type of events you host, because I know you said you love to do events other than partnering with other groups. Are there any special events that you host? And the third one will come to me. That was the important one. I might come back to that one. What are those two? Oh, your program income. That was the third one. Because you had I think 23% was from like program income, and I was just curious where that came from.
Yeah, sort of that earned revenue piece of the pie. Well, I'll start
Yes.
at the first. So first question, yes, you can opt in or out to, whether or not you build the public facing website platform, or if you just use their backend systems and keep your web, you can kind of pick and choose that path. We decided it was time for a whole new website anyway, so we did it all in one full swoop.
Okay.
And we liked that it then could, manage those events and things pretty seamlessly. Second question was around events. Yeah, we do a lot of social events. This coming year, we're trying out a new rotation of social events where once a quarter we'll do a traditional like happy hour style networking. Once a quarter we'll do a kind of give back outing where we go out and volunteer together on a project. And then once a quarter we'll do a coffee chat. So just let people like pick a time of day that works best for them and hopefully engage more members that way. As of now, we've stuck with a like 4 to 6 or 5 to 7:30 kind of time frame, and we get a decent turnout, but I think switching to this sort of rotating time of day will be interesting for us. And
Is
those
that
are mostly,
virtual? Is
you
that
know,
a virtual event? I'm sorry.
those are in person. A
Oh,
lot of
okay.
what we do now is back in person. We do occasionally do webinars online, but most things we do now are in person. We'll do workshops in person a lot now, where there's a bit of an education component to it. We do sector-based meetups. That's fairly new for us, where based on the industry you're in, you can come to a very sort of small group tour of a peer's business and then stick around and chat in a small group setting and just share what's going on, what pain points you have, what, great tools you've discovered. So we have like urban manufacturing meetup, urban food manufacturers meetup, a retailer meetup, operations professionals meetup that's cross industry. Those are going really well. I think it's just a more intimate environment to connect a little more deeply than a typical larger social event. And we do quarterly signature events that are larger in scale, and we do like a chef's potluck in the spring. We do a good business summit, a full day learning experience around the sort of business as a force for good theme in the first quarter. We do a pitch for the graduates of our business academy in the third quarter where they can compete for grant funding for their business. And then we do a lot of like holiday markets and pop-up markets during the holiday season. So those are the core types of events that we do.
Thank you. And then the final one about the earned income or.
Yes, so earned revenue is somewhat from events and then our co-working space. Yeah, programming and our co-working space is really that bucket.
Gotcha.
Our team operates out of the co-working space that we manage too. So it's our home base, and then we have a lot of other different businesses to rub elbows with, which is great.
Great. I
Thank
know
you.
we've got a bunch of questions. Are you good with looking at the chat, or would you like me to read them out loud?
I'm happy to go through it, and then Mon, I'll tap you if
Yeah.
I feel like you're stronger to answer any of these. So local chambers, Jen, I see your question about chamber organizations here. We do. Gosh, every little pocket has a chamber. We have a larger metro chamber of commerce. That's the big guy here. And then a lot of smaller, Somerville Chamber, Sea Island Chamber. There's a lot of smaller ones that we collaborate with to different degrees. Nothing too deeply. We'd like to, remind our members and others, prospects, that we are collaborative. We support each other. We show up to each other's events when we can, but also what makes us unique is everything we do, whether it's programming, advocacy, awareness, is just for locally owned, locally headquartered businesses, whereas CHIP chambers do it all, right? They're also advocating for and promoting non-local businesses. So it's not that that's bad, it's just different. And we have the benefit of being able to sort of laser focus on the local businesses. We don't clash a lot. Occasionally we clash from a policy perspective, but we get along otherwise. List of approximately cost for your base benefit. I'm glad you asked this. I'm actually going to share my screen again if I can, show you kind of how we display this on our website. If you go to our website and go to our join page, let me scroll up, expand it. So under membership, if you click join, this is the page I'm looking at. We have a tiered view at the different levels, and you can expand I'm gonna move this out of the way. Expand these as you want, and you'll notice, especially down here, that we list what it costs, but then the estimated value of that, what you might get beyond that cost. So we try to, it's a guessing game. There's not a precise science, but we've done some digging and guessing on what the values of these things that we offer are. So you'll notice the gap gets bigger. The lower the level, the higher the value is really there. And what's nice about this too is you can click through. So if as we're listing out these benefits, they can like pop over and learn about the co-working space, or just, you know, see the directory, learn about our advocacy efforts, all that stuff. Okay. Do you work with independent local businesses and community organizations, or does this include franchises? We don't allow franchises in our membership base unless the franchise is owned and headquartered here, which is very, 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 very rare. Does that answer that question? Do you work with independent local business? Yes. Community organizations. We do have some nonprofits that join. We don't heavily promote that, but I would say we maybe have 10 or 12 nonprofits that are a part of our membership base. And they engage like everyone else does. So that's great. We did this year open up that $150 level for solopreneurs, but we know that it also is for nonprofits or artists to join at. So it's not, again, something that we're out there campaigning for. There are nonprofit associations that exist for that kind of direct support, but we definitely don't exclude them. How many small businesses do you have in your region? Ooh, yeah, great question, Jen. I don't have an answer to that. I feel like every municipality categorizes businesses differently. It's hard to get that number. I mean, I can guess it's tens of thousands, right? And we have a very tiny sliver of that. Yeah, the dream world would be we'd get a report quarterly from the county with prospects to work from, but that doesn't happen. We did have one partnership with the town of Mount Pleasant, which is our sort of east of Charleston neighbor. We called it our Town Proud program, and we did certify local businesses for the town. And it was basically a free program for them if they qualified. We would vet them. If they qualified, they were now Town Proud members. It had its own like branding, but that did involve them sending us a list of their business licenses that were approved each month, and we could then sort of just vet if they were actually locally headquartered and owned or not. But that was a unique moment. How are your socials integrated into the website, and what video player do you use? Maud, do you want to answer those two questions from Katie?
Yeah, we've used our socials are basically linked at the bottom of our webpage. You can just click on the icon and head to our Instagram page, our Facebook, and our LinkedIn profile. And then as far as video players, we use both YouTube and Vimeo, and we can embed those videos, especially like the membership testimonials or some of our larger program videos into our website just by getting that source code and popping it in there. So pretty easy.
And I saw the question from Local First Membership and Events, who came in a little bit late, which is perfect. I'm so glad you came, even though we had already gotten started. And we'll definitely send a recording out, if not tomorrow morning, maybe sooner. So you'll be able to catch that, and any links or mentions that Jordan and Maud mentioned, I will also add that to the follow-up email. Any other questions? I know people have to run. Just know our January, we always meet the second Thursday of the month at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And our next topic, I haven't posted yet, but it's going to be about when you know it's time for a new website and what things you have to consider before you jump into maybe a consultant or doing it yourself. So we'll have that up and running. Probably I'll have that announcement probably next 2 weeks. So definitely keep an eye on the events page because I think it's kind of connected to what we were talking about today. Anything else before I do the sign off?
Just a thank you from Lowcountry Local First. Thanks to all of the great work you're all doing. It's fun for us to poke around and see what you're up to as well and glean inspiration. So thank you for Amoeba for gathering us and giving us this chance.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Maud and Jordan, again for joining us today. And thank you all for taking the time to listen in and share questions. I love seeing so much questions up until the top of the hour. So it really proves that people were interested and engaged. So again, this is the final Local Leaders Roundtable of 2024. Happy holidays, everyone. But don't be shy about reaching back out to me after you get an email update and asking any other follow-up questions or ideas for next year. It's always great to hear. And thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.